Alright, ready to roll. Let's go to the start.
Yep. Get up there. 11:58 p.m. I almost said a.m. Feels like it's early morning. Don't have to run a full night. Hopefully get light. Sunrise at 6. If it's not too cloudy and rainy. Downtown Cormier here. Plaza. The start. The TDS 2023.
Sur cette TDS pour venir affronter.
Vous êtes l'âme et le cœur du bébé. Du bébé, vous êtes. Et c'est parti pour cette TDS 2023. Le plaisir, le partage, vous êtes plus de deux.
Yo, this one. How you feeling?
Hip flexor just got a little stiff. I was getting really cold. It was like we're going through slush and mud.
Yeah.
Like, visibility is like 10 feet up there.
Oh
I
god.
had to put the wind pants on. Oh, thank you. Thanks. I'm gonna.
You feeling good, Sage?
As good as I can be. It's slushy, muddy up there, and hip flexor's getting stiff, but yeah, it's you know, breathing's getting tough too, so it's gotta control that pain.
They should tell you, yeah.
Phone, was it phone? What was it?
They said it was
Phone,
phone,
blanket.
pants, and space blanket.
Pants?
Yeah.
Okay, I just took those off. I'll just leave my jacket off
I
then.
mean, tough conditions, but you're doing great.
Thanks, yeah. Trying to stay warm out there. It was hard because I was drenching sweat and then I was freezing.
All right, go get it, Sage. Yes, Sage! Did you go through it already?
No, he has to go up and then go through.
Oh, go up and then come through.
You go up to that little peak and then you get to come down. It's goofy as goofy.
It is kind of goofy.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Go. Yes, Sage.
Go.
All right, how you feeling? In a couple words.
Stomach's been a little iffy, so I just stopped eating, and then I had to put my wind pants on because it was like freezing cold. 3 inches of snow, slush, really technical rock section off the mountain there, and it's covered in slush, mud, and ice. The rocks were, and you like jump in electric fences for the sheep, and it's crazy. It's super technical. Big descent. Now I got a big climb
Okay.
up and over to the Contamine, and then another big climb up and over to Lazouche.
Yeah, lots of climbing. Yeah, for a bit.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, man, you're
Hopefully
doing
see you
great.
back in Chamonix. Hopefully it won't be too late. No guarantees.
No, you're pretty much on time except for the race delay. So.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Let's strap this in here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna run out. Actually, so I coat it just a little.
Keep it up, man. Yeah, this is a steep one. You doing okay?
Hey, big climb. Delazish.
Yeah.
Last climb though.
Last climb, man. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Sage? Incredible. Incredible. Oh, really good. It's awesome to see you.
Oh, nice to see you. Thanks for being out here.
Oh, thanks you. Thanks for you being out here. You're smashing this finish.
Oh, about 8K to go. I need to get someone at this aid station.
Good on, Sage! Woo!
Go on, Sage.
Doing brilliant, Sage. Nice one. Go, Sage! You're only a few minutes behind the next guy.
Catching up.
He's World USA. He's won races all over the world. He's been on podiums all over the world. Sage, a real pleasure to have you here with us today. Thank you for joining us.
Sage Canaday!
He's a 2 hour 16 man on the roads.
Oh yeah.
And he's a 22 hour 6 minute TDS guy in 2023.
There we go. Like 98 miles this year.
Oh, it's not what they say it is. It's not.
Yeah, well we had to do a reroute, so we cut out some climbing.
Well,
maybe.
somebody just told me they found it harder to go up that road.
That road is hard. That road is hard. What made it hard was the technical bits where it's really rocky.
Yeah.
Was coated in snow and slush and mud. Like we were running through like 3 inches sometimes. But it was good fun. It's part of the challenge. Like,
listen, you have to deal
with the elements. I wore this jacket the whole time. Hi there, Hoga Athlete and High Running Coach Sage Canaday here. The race recap report. We are here in beautiful Chamonix last night here. Going to fly back with my friend Steven, who was out here crewing, supporting, also getting some of that content out here. But yeah, I did the TDS race. It was early on in the race week. Of course, there's a bunch of races out here. The championships being UTMB, CCC, which is the 100K, OCC, which is the 55K, and then TDS was it ended up being close to 100 miles, 160K race this year. And it happened early in the week when it was actually stormy. It's nice and warm and sunny now and dry, but TDS, it was raining a lot in Chamonix here, but starting in Courmayeur, Italy, and then going up to the mountains, you know, you go up to 8,000, almost 9,000 feet. Turned to snow, and that was an extra challenge, really a highlight of the year. They actually slightly changed the course from previous editions. It used to actually be more of an 80-mile race, and then the last couple years they've made it is supposed to be 92 miles, and they said it was going to be 95 miles. I got on my Coros Chamonix Apex 2 Pro Edition, close to 98 miles. I think it was like 97.8. I'll pull up the Strava data there, and then almost 28,000 feet of climbing. It was supposed to be around 30,000 feet of climbing, but because of the rain and the treachery of the weather conditions, they made us not go. They rerouted us around one of the mountain passes in the middle, and instead we had to climb up this pretty gnarly, well, it was paved, but it was a steep road grade for adding an extra 3 miles or an extra 5K to the race. So always hard to compare times when you have these big differences in weather conditions and little route changes like that. But of course, I didn't know what I was getting into. It was my first time on the course. We kind of started in Courmayeur at midnight. It was supposed to start at midnight on Monday night, but there was traffic in the Mont Blanc tunnel going through. There's a tunnel underneath the mountain here, and a little bit of a traffic jam, so they delayed the start by about 40 minutes. So I was traveling with my friend Steven, aka the Serious Runner. Check out his channel, link in the description below as well. But we were traveling over there at midnight. You're trying to, you know, stay awake. Some people are drinking coffee. It's a late night start. I had slept in all day and was trying to stay on US time more or less, but such an extreme thing to start at that late at night. And it was cold. It was cold. We were bundled up. I wanted to do our drop bag last minute. We were on the line, and then they said they were going to delay the start because not all the runners had arrived yet because of the traffic jam. So it ended up starting at closer to like 12:40 a.m. Busy start, you know, 1,600 runners in this race, and you know you're launching off and that you're going to probably have to pull out your headlamp again unless you're super fast. Maybe the top 3 guys finished without having to put on a headlamp again, but you know you're going to run all night. So we're going up. I'm debating if I should wear my rain jacket or just a base layer. Good choice. I went with the rain jacket. Hat and gloves for sure. And, you know, we start off pretty fast. I think I ran like a 6:40 first mile, which, you know, it's on pavement, it's slightly downhill, but I was probably in like 30 or 40th position only. And then we instantly start climbing up the ski slope access roads there, and I almost overheated. I almost started sweating under my base layer in mile 2, which you do not want to do, but strategically I'm unzipping my jacket a bit. I'm taking my hat on and off to try to not sweat. But then as we went up, I noticed it was getting colder. It was starting to rain. You have full, you know, rain gear and all that. So, you know, everyone's dealing with these conditions, and I was really trying to manage my effort early on, especially in that first 50K. So, you know, hanging out in like 30th, 25th position, kind of not used to being, I don't want to say so far back, but, you know, it's humbling because everyone's actually really close together coming into these aid stations, and you see the stream of lights behind you for like miles and miles going across the mountains of Italy there. But had Steven, he had to, you know, take some of the buses, barely made some connections. Heck of a journey at like 4 or 5 a.m. My friend Steven Ganoza's at the first aid station. It's roughly 50K and 32 miles in, Bourg de Saint-Maurice, I believe. I'll put it in text there because I'm mispronouncing it. And I was feeling pretty good coming into that aid station. However, you know, got some Spring Energy gels, tried to stay hydrated. I had my Camelback Zephyr Pro Vest on, so, you know, tucking the trekking poles, filling up the fluid bottles, or just switching out fluid bottles in a hurry, some electrolyte drink, sips of plain water. I don't think I started taking Coke yet, but, you know, carbohydrate fluid as well, so trying to drink some calories, and then, you know, some potato chips on the side, stuff like that. I'm leaving the aid station, breathing still feeling okay. It's, you know, from the start I get dropped on the climbs now because my breathing is a bit more labored than it used to be before the pulmonary embolism, but we're heading up. I have a real low point, and it's like, oh crap, we're only a third of the way through the race, less than a third of the climbing through the race, and already, you know, I'd survived the night, I'd survived the hard part where we were running through like 3 inches of snow on top of these mountain passes with 15 feet of visibility because of the fog and the clouds and, you know, sub-zero or sub-freezing wind chill type of temperatures. I actually had put on my rain pants. I had to stop and do that, put on the rain pants to keep the legs from getting chilled on that first descent. But I had a low point, even though it was getting light, the sun was up, it wasn't as cold. I, you know, was battling it out with some guys I was getting past, and it was getting really discouraging because I was starting to feel a little nauseous. My breathing was starting to go quite a bit. So I was thinking in my mind, you know, this is going to be like what UTMB was last year when I had to drop out, or you know, I was going to go backwards in the field and lose a lot of position and time. So, you know, I just focused on the moment. I was able to hit some of the climbs and just carry the trekking poles. The trekking pole started jamming. It was like jammed with mud and grit, so I couldn't fold it and put it in my quiver. So I'm, you know, found I could run actually better with the poles than trying to do the double plant technique. And, you know, slowly people were dropping out. I was moving up again, gaining some more confidence, getting into that, you know, 40, 50 mile mark, telling yourself mentally, okay, you're almost halfway done mileage-wise, playing those mental games. But it's hard because you know you've got another 10 or 12 hours out there still, and you're hurting quite a bit. So, you know, climbing wasn't real great, but I was managing the effort, trying to pace myself. Had to make a bathroom stop in the middle there, and, you know, getting in some calories at least. Staying hydrated, not as much of a problem. I think I actually overdid the sodium a bit because my original hydration plan was to drink more sodium, but it was also in more normal weather conditions. When it's super cold, the fluid needs and the sodium concentration needs kind of change. So actually maybe getting in a little too much salt compared to if I was actually sweating. I wasn't really sweating. So wasn't losing that sodium through the sweat as much. Kind of could throw the stomach off. So I was so proud with how I managed that effort though. Really tedious with taking the hat on and off so you don't sweat, but don't get too cold. And then putting the pants on and off as well to keep the legs managed. I wasn't prepared to run the whole race in long pants like a lot of my competitors and other people did actually, but it was that cold that I had my jacket on the whole time. So lucky enough, crew support Stevens able to travel throughout the whole morning, barely made the next connection at roughly 100K in Beaufort, I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'll put it there, but that was about 62, 63 miles in. There's a massive climb out of that. I had another big low point actually, tough point in the race for everyone. Some people were dropping out, but able to keep moving up position, and then I kind of held it from there. I moved up a couple spots, but we were running through a lot of mud, just trying to stay upright, running through the fog on these cold mountain passes, jumping electric fences where, you know, the sheep are out and the cattle dogs are out. And, you know, the distinguishing thing that's different with TDS compared to UTMB or but basically all the other races except PTL is it's more technical. It's more technical, which I've kind of embraced more after having my lung issues, even the technical downhills, which used to be a real weakness for me, but I actually made up a lot of ground relative to the guys I was racing against, more on the downhills than I did on the uphills probably. And, you know, the uphills get so steep, you're actually power hiking a ton. One of the steepest climbs was at the very end after Le Contamine. So, you know, I came into Le Contamine feeling pretty good. I knew I was in 12th or 13th place, and there was really no one I saw in front of me, and there was a big gap behind me. So it was all about finishing efficiently there. But a little surprised at the last climb, it was like doing a VK, like just, you know, I think that 1 mile, mile 88 had over 1,600 feet of vertical gain, and it was kind of technical and rocky, getting cold and dark again, but able to hold on and persevere. And, you know, my breathing was labored. I didn't have the sharp pain though that I've had in the past, so I was able to manage that severe lung and chest pain. My heart felt a little iffy a couple times, but, you know, everyone's dealing with the dehydration, you know, maybe possible stomach issues, and of course the leg muscular fatigue. Hip flexors were definitely getting worked pretty bad, but, you know, quads and hammies and calves were actually holding up pretty well. My arms are really sore though from using the poles a ton. But yeah, so I was able to finish it up into Chamonix at about 11 p.m. at night or so. It was 22 hours, 6 minutes for the whole event. That includes all the stoppage time as well at the aid stations and bathroom stop. But yeah, I was pretty proud with the effort and how I was able to move up in position and finish the second half without totally falling apart. In the past, even before I had my pulmonary embolism 2 years ago, I've struggled in 100-mile races, Western States, UTMB, Run Rabbit Run in the mountains, and I've always slowed down a lot or had a meltdown in the second half, and this was not the case. I was able to hold it more steady, so I think pacing wise, strategy wise, it worked out better, and I was using my leg muscles more and trying to rely on that more than the power I used to have in my higher VO2 max and breathing. So, you know, it's still a competitive field. There are a lot of guys. I didn't even know there was a guy only 3 minutes ahead of me, 11th place. I never saw his headlamp. If I knew he was there, I might have tried to catch him actually, but you know, that's part of the game too, is racing at night. You don't see everyone's headlamp always. It still would have been a tall order, but I think he was way out in front and then probably fading a bit in that last 10K there. So really appreciate though all the support from the sponsors. Obviously a lot of events, all the wonderful people I met here in Chamonix, any surface, any distance. You know me, I try to do it all. So really appreciate all that positive feedback. And again, special thanks to Steven Ganoza for doing the crew, helping support me, going around the mountain and getting those film shots, as well as, you know, everyone who hopefully contributed. I'll give some shout outs, some film credits, picture credits, taking selfies with you around town. Really wonderful. Thanks to my partner Sandy, of course, and co-coach HigherRunning.com. We sell training plans for any surface, any distance. She's back at home getting ready with her training and making content too. So really appreciate all that support. And of course, title sponsor Hoka, other sponsors, Koros, Camelback, you name it. There's a whole number to name, Spring Energy, Compressed Sport, to name a few. But really appreciate the sponsor support, and of course the Patreon supporters for keeping this YouTube channel alive. Congrats to all the runners and people I met this week too. A bunch of people running all the different distances and exploring, enjoying these beautiful mountains. It's such a privilege and honor to be coming back here to Chamonix, and it's something I want to keep doing. So really a great step forward. I'm going to think about my next race for the end of the year. I'm going to do maybe one event or two. I don't know exactly what distance it'll be. More on that later. Follow along, subscribe, like these videos if you like them, and thank you so much to all the Patreon supporters again for keeping this channel alive, as well as the sponsors and everyone watching these videos. Hope you're doing well, and stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.